Good evening, fam of the Phoenix Esports League, and welcome in. After tonight, the league will finally be in full swing as these two teams, Final Bastion and Orbit Gaming Quasar, will play their first games of the season against each other. And finally, we'll have everybody playing some games. My name is Yanni. I am joined here by Romeo. Romeo.
Hello. We are back since Monday.
Yes, sir. We had some pretty good games on Monday, and now we've got two more teams squaring off in Final Bastion and Orbit Gaming Quasar that have a bit of a difference in philosophy between the two of them. As we're heading into the draft already, we see some choice picks taken away. Zaya Akali both off the board, as well as Shen, who has been the best Heartsteel user in the game.
Yes, Shen has actually been a demon to reckon with. I know, like, the new 2023 season just started, and I keep seeing Shen in almost every game I play. That guy is a force, man. Both just a strong champion on his own, and that ult is just incredibly strong.
We are zooming through the picks and bans. Rengar, Zoe, Caitlyn also off the board. A Diana first pick here for Final Bastion, giving that one over to Ice. That's one of their champions of choice. What really surprises me is we see champions like Ryze, Cassidy, and Twisted Fate open. Some of the strongest champions as the season is kicked off. I'm interested to see if any of these mid laners elect to pick them up.
Yes, and it looks like right now we already have the jungle matchup. It's going to be Diana most likely taking on Xin Zhao here. I am a Xin Zhao main, I should mention. I love that champion with a passion. However, Xin and Diana as a matchup I find is very 50-50, and I feel like Diana just gets a lot stronger once they pick up Jackcho compared to Xin Zhao. So that might be a little bit of a tough matchup on the side of Orbit Gaming.
What does Orbit Gaming need to do to make sure their Xin Zhao gets ahead?
I mean, people I find this season have been very stagnant with trying to full clear. I feel like as Xin Zhao, if you can get a good early gank off, you can usually snowball or out snowball Diana. But if you're playing like even with Diana, she's definitely ahead of you.
Well, they did follow up with Renata Galask on their side, so certainly have at least a little bit of CC in the bottom lane to take advantage of. On the other side, Final Bastion has gone toward the Jhin, seeing a rise in popularity in the support role, but with the Karma pickup next, it looks like it's going to be your main carry down.
Yeah, it looks like we got Jhin Karma taking on Renata, and whatever the answer is before we go into the next phase of banning. How do you feel about the Jhin Karma combo, Yanni?
You know, Jhin Karma seems pretty solid. Karma can poke from long range with the Q. Follow it up with a Jhin root, and you got yourself a stew going, baby. You can get some real damage.
Don't forget about the damage based off movement speed with Jhin. When you have the Karma speed up, that thing can be nasty.
You're just zooming around, hitting fourth shots, and blowing people's heads off. And you see Aphelios getting picked up, so it's an immobile carry with no help other than a Renata Galask bailout. Once you're in, you're in.
I think we have, that bot fight, there isn't going to be a lot of trying to escape. You're going in together until you both get Gale Force. And, like, Jhin very slow, Aphelios very slow. So, once a fight breaks out, odds are somebody is getting executed.
Heading into the second half of bans here, we see Aurelia getting taken off the board. That is it's a pick for Velikaz up for Final Bastion. So, that's going to be one less of an option that they have, but they still have a wide swath of champions to select from. Interesting things about these teams is that Rams, the mid laner of Final Bastion, they think that they're the odds-on favorite to win the whole league.
How do you feel about that statement personally? Do you think, like, after what we've seen on Monday, do you think they're going to be at odds with the teams? With, like, California State and whatnot?
I haven't seen them play yet. You know, I like the confidence coming out of them, but when you haven't played a game in the league, you know, maybe it's a little premature.
And if I'm correct, these are the last two teams that haven't played so far in this league.
Every team will have played a game once they conclude this best of 3 set. Getting through the rest of the bands is Veigar, it's Riven, it's Yorick, and then a Jace pickup for Gate.
Jace has been going hard, both as a mid lane and top lane flex this season. It's a really good pick here because they can go in either lane, forcing these two to show both their top and mid and being able to decide what the matchup is better for Jace. Do you think that has any philosophy when it goes to picking for Final Bastion here? Do you think it's both? You're looking for two good picks against Jace here?
I don't know if they really mind it too much. You know, they feel like they're an incredibly flexible team when it comes to their play and their players, and they play with a clear plan in mind. So that could be what they're going for. But based off their first 3 picks, I'd venture that they'd go for something that works a little bit better with their team comp. You've got a lot of pick ability with Jin, Karma, and you're just adding to it with the.
The, it looks like in the top lane we're going to be having a Gangplank taking on. Who do you think would be the best pickup right now for Orbit Gaming? They're going against Gangplank.
I mean, it looks like they're going to stick with the Jace against the Gangplank, which seems like it's pretty fine. You do a good job of disrupting his barrels. Xerath, the pickup here, you definitely don't fall victim to Vex's passive as much, given the fact that you're incredibly immobile. But on the other side of the coin, you're incredibly immobile. But there's a very nice pick composition they kind of have going on with the Jace and the Xerath looking to whittle down the health bars of Final Battle.
One thing I would notice with both these teams is there is really no strong tank on either team. I mean, you have Xin Zhao and Diana who can both act as bruisers for your front line, but overall, I find both of these teams don't have an objective front liner to play around.
Yeah, these are what I like to call lean team compositions, where there's nobody really tanky, but there's like a lot of damage to them. You know, this is where you think of your champions like Diana, like Xin Zhao. Never mind the fact that pretty tanky. Given the fact that they pump out damage, but I mean, they don't take the damage super.
No, they don't. I mean, once they get Jack Show a couple items in, they'll definitely begin to feel like tankier champions. But for the first, usually you're buying it second, third item on champions like Diana and Xin Zhao, which means for like the first half of this match, you could see a very, very bloody jungle and just bloody lanes all around. Diana and Xin Zhao, both great champions at ganking, both great champions at having a lot of map presence. And with the way these lanes are going to go, we're going to be seeing a lot of poking in the mid lane, a lot of poking in the top lane, and the bot lane you have champions that just simply cannot move. So once a jungler comes in the gank, if you're caught even a little bit out of position, that's going to spell a large advantage for either Bastion or for Quasar.
Yeah, and you know, it's a little difficult here when you take a look at these junglers being able to execute some ganks. Now, obviously, it's possible in the bot lane, but it requires a little bit of setup. Renata doesn't have anything that's remotely point and click until she hits level 6. Whereas Aphelios needs to, land the auto attacks with that purple gun, root them down. You can't really gank top lane too well. Jace doesn't provide very much CC unless you're going to try to flash insect somebody a little bit closer to your side. And Xerath does have a stun, but it's very telegraphed. It's not super fast. Easy for a Vex to sidestep. When you take a look at what Final Bastion has, they also require a lot of setup. Vex isn't going to get off very many fears until you start dropping that ultimate. Meanwhile, Jin Karma require actual damage and skill shots to be landed in order for the Diana to come in and make any waves. So we might just see ships passing in the night for a little bit, which, as you mentioned, is not great for Xin Zhao in this one.
No, it absolutely isn't. And one thing that I noticed is particularly bad from Xin Zhao from the side of a jungler is a Vex mid lane. Her fear when you dash onto her can be very horrifying when you're Xin Zhao, especially considering a lot of the time when you're ganking mid, your E is your number one way of getting on top of a target, hoping whether to blow their flash or to kill them. By the time you'll get the third auto attack to actually land a knockup, odds are you're already feared and walking away from your target, especially when it comes to Vex.
Yeah, and that's not fantastic. When you are the main initiator of your team, you do not want to be walking in the wrong direction. So you know what? I actually kind of like this Vex pick more and more now. The Final Bastion, Ram said they like to play with a clear plan in mind. What do you think is the plan that Final Bastion's got cooked up for this game based on the content?
I think if they can there's a lot of poke from both these teams, but I think ultimately you can very easily close the gap on Final Bastion with the champions you have if you get a nice route. It looked, in my opinion, really easy for them to get a pick and steamroll a fight, especially with Diana as a frontline champion and an engage. A nice ultimate from Diana to pull them all in for some easy routes and a massive Vex Sphere, along with Gangplank barrels, make team fighting a lot easier on the side of Final Bastion. So I think as long as they can avoid Xin Zhao flanks and getting in before they get too poked out, it is a really simple team comp to pull off.
Bon the Quad, the jungler over on the side of Orbit Gaming, they know that their team has an uphill battle to climb today, and they know that one play can change everything, which is why I like the Renata Glass pick a lot. That ultimate can certainly turn a fight or two in their favor. What do you think that their team composition has to do in order to come away with it?
I think the number one thing you have to do on this side of Orbit Gaming is make sure Diana's not able to play in a fight. Because if you can take down the only member that even simply acts as a frontline or a good engage tool, they don't have a lot to come in at you with. Sorry, I just knocked over my camera there. But yeah, they don't have a lot to come in at you with, right? With Diana down, especially even just her ultimate down, her dashing into you, she can't pull you together for the teammates. She can't really do a whole lot, so it's either about burning her ultimate or just outright not letting her play. Poking her out before she comes in and really opening the door for you guys to take a nice heavy team fight. Because yeah, Din's a good engage tool. However, with Zin being an engage tool with his type of comp, he doesn't have anyone to go in with him with. You know what I mean? He has Renata Glass ultimate, I suppose. But overall, he doesn't have a whole lot of ways of entry, especially with a Vex. Which means he needs Diana to be down before they can really push in the team fight. But if they kill Diana, I guarantee you any team fight goes into Orbit Gaming's favor.
We have two big question marks. What are these teams made of? We are going to find out after this best of 3. We're going to take you to game 1 very shortly. But before that, we're going to take a break to get through the spectator delay. Do not despair. When we return, game 1, Final Bastion, Orbit Gaming Quasar, Phoenix Esports League. We'll see you soon. Howdy, everybody. We have made it onto Summoner's Rift for Game 1 between Final Bastion and Orbit Gaming Quasar. Final Bastion are on the blue side, Orbit Gaming on the red side. We've seen the compositions, we've had a little chat, and now, Romeo, it's time to finally dig into the game.
Yes, it is Game 1, the first game both these teams are playing inside of Phoenix. One of these teams will start their season off with a high note, and the other will ultimately be starting off with the first loss on their record today. Also marking the beginning of the 2023 season in League. Big update that happened last night, and now these teams have to play. There was a rework to Jack's show, by the way, if you haven't seen it. It only targets champions now.
Thank God.
But it's overall stronger.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that item was already strong already, but I mean, I don't think it's a bad item per se. Like, I think it's great design. I really like it. It sounds cool. It looks cool. It's got a cool effect, and it makes it pretty tanky. So, like, you know, everybody's generally pretty okay with all of those things, but, you know, generally people will be very sad if you're like, I love Jack Show. It's my favorite item.
The absolute main reason I bring this up, though, is because I do believe we're going to be seeing two people build Jack Show this game, that being Diana and Xin Zhao. And the one thing that made Jack Show really good on junglers is that it could target jungle camps. However, it doesn't do that anymore. Sure, you're still building it second, but now you might be building it third item instead of second, just because it doesn't help with your clear like it used to.
And when you are a step slower in your clear, it can really affect a lot of how the game plays out. So we'll have to see how that goes from here. We just see a little bit of trading up into the top lane. No ignites up there. Couple teleports. We see teleport in the mid lane as well for Orbit Gaming. So want to see if they're able to take advantage of their little teleport. It's a tricky composition to play at this level, and we'll see if they're able to pull it off. They have the tools to be able to do so. So far, it looks like it's correct. Ultimately, it comes down to the macro map.
I do think double teleport is a good idea, though, when you're running a poke comp. You want to be at objectives first as a team to make sure you're not letting the other team get any pressure onto those objectives. You need to be able to poke them off it before they're even able to walk on. And I think with Diana, it's very big to be at Dragons first, to be at Heralds first. My question when it comes to the first Dragon coming up, the first Mountain Drake that's coming up in 2 minutes and 15 seconds, right, is as both these teams, do you pay a lot of attention to that first Mountain Drake? I feel like Dragons have become a little bit less important with the way Season 13 has gone so far. And a lot of teams don't prioritize it as much as they used to, right? But if you're going to prioritize this first Dragon, both these teams do kind of have to decide relatively early. If you're going to be trying to poke them off it, you have to make sure your wave states are pushed so you can help Diana or Xin take that first Dragon. And on the same token, if you're Diana and Xin, are you willing to prioritize that Dragon over some early clear?
And not only that, it means you might end up giving up Rift Herald, which if you give up the first Rift Herald, that is a lot of gold going over to the other team. For Final Bastion, you know, I think they should be licking their chops at the prospect of getting this Dragon. Giving yourself some extra resistances is huge against a poke composition that has not only an AP threat, but an AD threat.
Absolutely have to agree with you there. A Mountain Drake's probably one of the worst Drakes that can come up for Quasar, for the sake of they don't want that enemy team having any resistance. I think as like Xin Zhao, as Quad right now, you do need to be considering, can I get this Dragon before Diana? The thing with Xin is he can 1v1 Diana for the first 6 levels for sure, and then it starts becoming about who's farming quicker, who has more kills, and he needs to find a way to make sure he's ahead of that if they're going to be getting early objectives. But right now, a fight in the top lane.
Velikaz just absolutely taking it to Moose and Juice. Never had a chance. Moose and Juice knew better than to flash. A solo kill up in the top lane for the Gangplank. A great start for Final Bastion.
And that has to be very scary if you're Quasar Gaming right here, because Gangplank is a scary champion late game regardless of if he has a kill. Level 13, huge spike for him. But the first blood of the game going to such a hard scaling champion is never fun.
Yeah, and now he's got a Sheen too. You know, those champions like Gangplank, they get their Sheen power spike. This early on, if Moose and Juice keeps making some mistakes, there is a chance that Velikaz could pull away.
You do not want to have a Gangplank pull away, especially not 5 minutes into the game. But right now, it's looking really good for him. He's gonna hit level 6 first off the gold and experience he just got in that first fight. He's able to back, get Sheen, get longswords. He has the wave frozen in front of his tower, which is exactly where he wants it to be, and it's making Jace have a living hell trying to get any experience from those minions.
And not only that, once he hits level 6, he'll be able to impact the other sides of the map as well. You know, get to take your advantage that you got up in the top lane and try to translate it elsewhere while not even having to move. While we all know Gangplank has been such a strong champion for such a good long while now. A little bit of trading going on in the mid lane. It looks like Nate Striker getting the better of Rams here, who has been pretty constricted on mana and does not have a teleport available to try to get a quick recall.
I think it is worth mentioning when it comes back to range, although Orbit Gaming has the overall advantage when it comes to poking, when you really look at the teams, range is almost in favor of Final Bastion here. They got so many ultimates they can open a fight and just chunk Quasar with. You got GP ult, which you can ult from halfway across the map when Diana goes in. You have Vex ult, which she can engage from the middle of river to a lane. And then you have Jhin ult, which takes up half a lane, if not the whole thing, half the time. There's a lot of range when it comes to the ultimates and just skill sets right now from Final Bastion. That being said, of course, you do have Xerath ult on the side of Orbit Gaming,
and
which could come into play.
Never mind the fact that Jace and Xerath, their abilities are not all long ultimate commands. As we do see Bone the Quad starting up that dragon. Diana on the top side, looks like there will be very little resistance for this one. So while it's not going to benefit them too much, you'll always take some extra resistances. And the fact that they're not on the other side will definitely move the needle at least a little bit in this early.
Yes, it will. I think that Mountain Drake is a huge pickup for the side of Orbit Gaming. That Mountain Drake you definitely want to stop Bastion from getting, which they've just done successfully. And now when it comes to Xin Zhao being the frontliner, he's going to be able to survive that much longer once he starts picking up more tanky items.
Just got to get there. And so far, with just farming up, nothing too crazy happening other than that top lane kill. It looks like Xin Zhao will get there with a little resistance. That does mean Diana will as well.
Now, Diana has hit level 6 a little bit earlier than Xin and has gotten an invade, taken out his raptors. Maybe looking for a play here. She's definitely punished him for going for that early dragon. And it looks like Nate Striker might be caught outside.
Oh, there's a flash into a double ultimate, and they have caught the Xerath. Rams able to pick up that kill. Great synergy between the mid and jungler of the side of Final Bastion.
And just like that, Nate Striker just going to take a look at what's going on with the Raptors, getting absolutely deleted in the blink of an eye. A play that quick, you just can't see coming, to be completely honest.
Yeah, and the worst part is you could see he kind of got that stun off and just had to sit there with about 50 HP knowing that his death was inevitable.
Worst part is, too, the wave crashing into his tower just blew TP, not going to be able to catch any of it. And
good start out of the solo lanes here for the side of Final Bastion. See this Rift Herald getting started up. It's almost dead. Bone the Quad going to get the eye trigger on it. Ice is going to go in for this. It's very low. Bone the Quad picks up the kill, but does not get the Rift Herald. That one goes over to Velikaz. He's just going to pick it up and try to run away as Nate Striker from downtown raining some shots. So overall, you lose the Diana, but you do gain the Rift Herald on a member like the Gang.
That is kind of rough for Orbit Gaming. Neither jungler had their smite up. Of course, you do get the kill pickup on Xin Zhao, which is nice for him when it comes to pushing the tempo of the game. But that Rift Herald going to Gangplank, a guy who's already up a kill, has the first item on the map, already has Essence Reaver, 65 CS, massive advantage from Gangplank that's only going to snowball that much more once the Rift Herald connects with that top tower.
That is absolutely crazy. He was able to use the empowered recall as well, so he didn't have to miss out on anything. That's a huge power spike for Velikaz, and really good presence of mind to just make sure, hey, you know what, I can go back and get my item, I can get back quickly. You know, who needs
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Who needs that wave when I'm coming back with Essence Reaver?
Oh, and Flash Report too. Moose and Juice very low. Velikaz, he's just walking forward, lands the Q. Gets the first strike proc. It is not quite enough. That ultimate is down, but we'll have to force Moose and Juice back. And now Moose and Juice is going to have to make a decision whether or not they want to drop the teleport.
Moose and Juice survived with 69 HP. Nice.
What's not nice is this Rift Herald that just got dropped. It's going to force out the teleport. Velikaz is going to get some money in the bank for that one. See Diana hanging out in the bot lane here. Still trying to make another nice play happen. They had that one earlier in the mid lane with the wave pushed up. It's going to get increasingly harder. And Jin Zhao now on the bottom side as well. They snuffed something out. We could see some fire.
Yes, we could. Xin Zhao at a kill up. He has the, what's it called? The recurve bow. He has Vampiric Scepter. Those are some big items for him to have early. Gonna be able to do that knock up pretty quick, all things considered, if he can get past those control wards. There's a lot of vision for Bastion right now in bot side, so it's gonna make him really hard for him to find an opening there. And it looks like he might be coming into contact with Diana right here.
They are on a collision course for each other, but it might just be a couple of pings and a little bit of poke. Rams is trying to take out this ward. Nate Striker trying to keep him off of football. He'll trade a little bit of HP for a ward pickup.
Yeah, it looks like we traded some HP for a ward pickup. Honestly, beneficial to the side of Final Bastion. That's 75 gold away from the other team and 25 gold in your pocket. Nice route there.
Hands into a stun. Rams trying to get in, but whiffs the ultimate. Thomas trying to get the root down. We see a couple flashes burnt. The fourth shot is going to trigger on Zachology, but Null and Voided is able to pick up the kill and bail out the Renata. A 1-0 for the side of Orbit Gaming Quasar, but they're not done yet. Null and Voided trying to get some kills here. They're going to be able to pick up ice help from downtown from Nate Striker. And Orbit Gaming Quasar turns the gank on its head.
And Orbit Gaming turning the game back into their favor. And not only will they pick up a lot of gold from the failed gank of Ice, but Dragon is up, Diana is down, which means the Cloud Dragon is going to the side of Orbit Gaming. And yeah, Cloud Dragon isn't that great, especially not with a super immobile team. But what makes this important is that we're able to find out what soul it's going to be. And they're already going to be 2 dragons away from it, 12 minutes of the game. We could see a 22-minute soul here. It's going to be Ocean Soul for the side of the Poke Cup.
You know, I'm not sure if we are going to see a 22-minute Soul, but I think we definitely will see one this game. And, you know, as you mentioned, Ocean Soul, very impactful. The Poke composition can secure it. It'll be a huge boon for them. But if Final Bastion somehow manages to get their hands on it, that'll spell doom for Orbit Gaming.
Yes, it very well might. Having a
oh, no.
Ocean Soul would be very strong, but that's 4 dragons they need, and it looks like Moose is in a tough position, doesn't it? 3 of them ready for this tower dive. He's here, sitting at 300 HP, and here it comes.
Oh, the Moose is about to get juiced. He's going to try to engage onto Rams. Rams take a couple of turret shots, but we'll be able to find the kill, give an assist over to Ice as well. It looks like they're going to work to try to take down this top turret as Velikaz. No, all right, he's going to back. Come on, make a decision. There we go. Stick around, get that final plate, get that first turret over to Final Bastion. And they're opening up about 2,000 gold lead right now after that play.
Yes, they are, and most of that gold is on Gangplank and Vex.
Oh,
2 champions that are super strong.
Oh, good flash by Nate Striker there.
He was almost in Disaster's way if he wasn't able to flash that wall. They burnt the Vex ult, but it looks like there's still Disaster happening.
Oh, Disaster in the bot lane is struck. Red and white. Nolden Void takes down the support. Another kill for this Aphelios has quietly gone 3-0 in this game.
But you know what's coming out loudly? Gangplank has just picked up Prowler's Claw. 2 items in 14 minutes for Velikaz.
Ooh, frisky MMO. Had to get out of there, burned to the flash for it, but yeah, we cannot understate the impact of this Gangplank. Just wait until we start getting into the mid-game. Those barrel combinations are going to hurt. Iced onto Zachology. Let's get rooted, but the chase is still on. The exhaust is down. Aphelios now starting to come around. Nate Striker in the area. Here comes the Jin ultimate. Diana's gone berserk. Diana's been stun locked, and Nolan Voided is going to pick up kill number 4 on the game in 14 minutes. We know the champions to watch now. Oh! From downtown, Moose and Juice has been bullied all game, but dishes out some punishment themselves.
Moose and Juice might have been the quiet kid, but he just pulled something out of his backpack and has taken out Rams.
Bro. That's not right, bro.
Anyways. I'm so sorry. Was that too far?
Yes, that was too far.
I'm so sorry.
Orbit Gaming with a slight gold lead now. Not going to be able to take out that mid lane turret. It's only about 400 gold, but we'll see if they're able to keep it and expand upon it from here. Finally have a decent grip on the game, but Velikaz is here. Will we get to see the chunks? Yes, we do. There's the Prowler's Call. They're going to be able to pick up the solo kill on to that Xerath. And just like that, more gold for Final Bastion and this gang.
Yes, it is here. Right now, we're starting to see the champions that are pulling away with this gold, though. Like, as we get into the team fight, and Ram's going to go down again, it looks like.
Rip. Yeah, you know, the Goon Squad came in. Aphelios is now 5-0. He's on 1.5 items. One of those being that serrated dark. This Aphelios is going to get out of hand if he's not already. It's like second Rift Herald has been started up. And this time Orbit Gaming is looking to pick this one up. They're going to get a teleport out of the Xerath to go ahead and secure it.
That's going to be the second Rift Herald of the game. As always, not as impactful, but if you can take down a couple members of Final Bastion, that Rift Herald could definitely secure a lot of map presence.
Yeah, if you take out an inner turret with it, that is already worth its weight in gold. You can see the team is set up here. They are looking to do exactly that. Diana comes in over the wall. Is going to ult 2 people. Ball in the quad in trouble. And here comes that Renat ult, sending multiple members berserk. Rift Herald gets the charge off. Turret goes down. Velikaz from the side. Flashing forward on the Zachology. And he just burns away. Nolan Voided has to flash away. And is taking a whole lot of damage. They will back off. So the turret does go down. Orbit Gaming Quasar did get their prize, but they lose a 1-member fort.
But it looks like Nate Striker just secured that Raptor, if I'm correct. Which, let's be... Oh, shit.
Oh, no, this is really bad because Nolan Void canceled the recall. Rams will not be able to land the ultimate, so they're going to trade mid-turret. Now, Final Bastion starting to get control of the game. They're pinging the dragon 10 seconds up before it spawns. This is exactly what Orbit Gaming did not want to see.
Nate Striker down for it. They're not going to be able to take on the 4v5, which means that dragon's in the hands of Final Bastion's pocket. And as a poke comp, as we said earlier, you don't want the other team to have an Ocean Drake. Probably worse than them having a Mountain Drake, to be honest. The longer the fight goes on, which you're kind of looking for as a poke comp, the more health they're going to get back.
Now, it is only one. It is only one, which is manageable. It's totally fine. But once they start, you know, chaining these together and getting more, it could be problematic. Moose and Juice flashing forward, but unable to find anything on the gangplank. But one thing to note is that you can counter Ocean Soul. You can just use the Shopkeeper to your advantage.
Yes, absolutely. But now Heal Cut becomes a must-have for the side of Quasar. If that 3% becomes 6%, the 6% becomes 9%, and God forbid it being 12% and Soul.
Damn, this doing numbers, bro.
Of course. Let's be real. League of Legends is simply a solvable number of games. That's what LS says, right?
Well, I mean...
Totally, completely solvable?
Nice told me it's a racing game.
We need to have a league where
That'll be $350, please.
Can we get like a league where every player has to play with one of those like steering wheels, like a NASCAR steering wheel?
You and I talked about the Sona, the person who played Sona a couple of years back with the racing wheel.
I've seen craziest thing, and I'll just bring this up real quick. I've once seen someone play League of Legends with a collection of fruit, and each fruit was a different ability.
What?
Yeah, they like wired it like one of those like high school experiments. They lost every game, but it's wildly entertaining.
I mean,
imagine smacking an orange and you eat an orange as gangplank.
Imagine queuing up a game to play League of Legends, and if you find out your teammate's just trying to play fruit.
Listen, with the way my solo duo teammates have been, I wouldn't be surprised.
Listen, bro, you are the constant in every game, my friend. I'm just saying.
Okay, the 25% win rate may say it's my fault, but I'm not going to take responsibility for it.
Listen, man,
okay?
I'm undefeated this season, so I don't know what your problem is.
Have you played a match?
No.
That's okay.
Am I wrong?
Is that podcast from players?
My win rate is infinite.
Hey, listen, guys, tune into Yanni on the Never Lost podcast.
Yes, sir. Guru!
Risky MMO.
Alright, Zachology's dead. Multiple people have gone berserk. Mercy Juice from the side Atama is very, very low. Bone the quad going in. Does get feared. Well, Nolan Void looking to run the fight. Look at all the damage that Aphelios does. Able to pick up a kill. Bomb the quad is going to fall on the backside. So it is going to be a 2-for-1 in favor of Final Bastion. It feels like they just come away on the good side of all these fights.
But here comes Gangplank.
Oh no, bro! Oh, he dashed through the stun. Nate Striker just burns away. What is going on, dude? He does more burn damage than a brand. Ice very low, but Moose and Juice able to turn it around. Velikos from the side, unable to chain the barrels together. But Null and Voided has to split off from Moose and Juice. Oh my god! So much damage coming out from Velikos. 7, 0, and 0. This Gangplank is unstoppable.
Hey, you ever hear about an eye for an eye? Well, Velikos said, you kill one of my people and I'll kill all of yours. 7-0 Gangplank with Collector, marching around the Summoner's Rift, taking what he pleases.
Captain Jack Sparrow out here on the Black Pearl. No parlays, though. Only death.
Yeah, that is absolutely correct. But what will Null and Voided have to say about it in 1 minute and 30 seconds when that second Ocean Drake is up? We have a 7-0 Gangplank against a 6-0 Aphelios.
Listen, I play a lot of AD carry, and as somebody who's gotten fed multiple times against the fed Gangplank, you know what I have to say to them?
What do you have to say to them, Yanni?
Please stop killing my team, please.
The worst part is, too, you got no tank to defend you.
Listen, it's only a matter of time before this Gangplank is able to find a way to this Aphelios and take him out. With red-white guns, but not for too much longer, so you have to wait a little bit before they want to get the most optimal fight, especially because Orbit Gaming, they have to feel that their grip on this game is slipping.
You absolutely must, and although the gold advantage doesn't seem like a whole lot, only 2k, it's about who has it. And the thing is, yeah, Aphelios is really good at lighting up people in team comps if they have the right guns, but Gangplank is consistently ready to blow up everyone and everything with those barrels. He's turning this game into a match of Donkey Kong, only just gonna be launching him at you. You know the difference between him and Donkey Kong is the barrels explode on impact.
Listen, man, he slides into your DMs, he lights you on fire, and just leaves you to burn.
Anyways, look at them ready, sitting there at the Ocean Drake, ready to go.
We see some pings going down, but Final Bastion, they are committed to this dragon, as is Orbit Gaming Quasar. As Orbit Gaming has said, one play could change it all. This could be the one. They started up the dragon. There is Vision Ice ready to go over the wall. He's going to take the long way around, and the dragon is just going to go over to the side of Orbit Gaming. It's going to put him on Salt Point. But running amok is Rams, able to pick up one. Velikos from the side, going to pick up another. Rams is going way deep on the backside onto the Xerath. Now trying to get some stuns down, but Rams is going to have to back off. The Null and Voided could not get into that fight. 3 more kills going the way of Final Bastion. Orbit Gaming is on Soul Point.
Gangplank may have been late with the TP. They weren't able to pick up the dragon, but they got 3 kills as a consolation prize, and it looks like...
He's got 4 items, bro!
It looks like they're also going to pick up the giant purple worm and brings 1,500 more gold to spice up this gold gap on their team and get a large push in.
Hey, listen, Xerath can steal this. Nate Striker's a shooter. He's a dog. Nate Striker's a dog. No, it is taken by Ice. Good effort by Aphelios and Xerath, but unable to get the job done there. But the good news is that Baron will run out before the next dragon comes up. It's just a matter of Orbit Gaming can hang on.
This is a fight to survive right now for Orbit Gaming. They have a lot of towers they can lose before they're able to push into the base, but you don't want to give up that map presence when you're shooting for an Ocean Soul. When you don't have map presence and an objective's up, it makes it that much harder to secure vision and fight for the dragon. They know they need to be on dragon first, which means they have to defend these T2 turrets if they're going to be looking to pick up Ocean Soul in 3 minutes. That's going to be very hard when you have Gangplank deleting your waves, and on top of that, a Baron buff giving your minions extra damage, extra health. They do have great wave clear, though. They have Aphelios, they have Xerath, they have Jace. Unfortunately, people like Xin Zhao are going to be a sitting duck when these fights come in.
Yeah, and the good news is, as you mentioned, Aphelios and Jace mostly are going to do a lot of the heavy lifting in these next few minutes because those minions get baroned up. They take a lot less magic damage. So Nate Striker getting a huge nerf for the next couple minutes, but Let's see what ends up happening. We see the Diana looking to maybe get a dive going down here. When the quad is shading over to try to foil this plan. But it looks like it'll at least be 3v2. And Gangplank just destroying the Aphelios. I told you it was just a matter of time. They gang up on Moose and Juice. And just like that, Orbit Gaming Quasar is starting to fall apart.
Gangplank deleted the big boss on Quasar. Like, he's like when you play Fallout and you only do the side quests and then go to do the main story missions and just one-shot every boss you come across. Null and Voided just made his namesake and got deleted off the face of the Summoner's Rift, and now they're coming into that base. All of the bot lane turrets being deleted. All of the mid lane turrets being deleted. They're down to their T3s, and right behind those lie the inhibs. If they lose an inhib, fighting any objective becomes near impossible. That T3 bot turret looking like it's about to fall. Will they be able to hold on?
Aphelios, a lot of damage going down. Almost from downtown is going to fall. Nate Striker able to pick up the kill. And despite the fact that Velikaz is a Thanos mode right now, it will have to back off as the karma goes down. The bot lane inhibitor turret still stands for now.
And that means at a large cost, they have survived the Baron push. It ends in 20 seconds. They won't be able to get anything else off of it. But the question is, now the map pressure 100% is in favor of Final Bastion. They still have all their T2s. The mid wave's going to push into Quasar. The bot lane's gonna push into Quasar. Those are the two lanes that surround that fifth Ocean Dragon that's spawning in 1 minute and 10 seconds. They have to find a way to push those waves and get to the dragon first. Otherwise, there will be a massive problem because you're not going to be able to outpoke them when they're already on top of that dragon. And that dragon's going to delete in a moment's notice with a guy like Velikaz being a 10-0.
And not only that, there's barely any wards on the bottom side. And great ward coverage by Final Bastion around that dragon. So Orbit Gaming is walking in blind. They are not advantaged for this objective. And it's so hard because you could decide to trade it. You can decide to trade away the Drake to give yourself more time to farm up. Sure, that gives Final Bastion more time, but then it gives them that extra percentage against that poke composition. We haven't really seen them set up for an objective yet and use that poke composition to their advantage. You might see that here as Orbit Gaming, they've gotten here first, despite not having the vision earlier.
That being said, Vex all down for this fight. They missed it looking for a pick, but here it comes. Diana looking for a big engage here. What will happen? Who will win the fight? Because ultimately it may have turned in the game.
Has found one member, but has split the team. Zacology popping the ultimate. 3 members berserk, but Zacology, they are doomed to fall. On the quad. Nothing that they can do in the middle of 4. Null and Voided dashing in, but gets feared and is taken down. Triple kill for Gangplank.
They got split. Born the quad went in. Null and Voided chased a little bit too deep and took his life. And now that second dragon gonna go to the side of Final Bastion along with a lot of pressure to push. It looks like Nate Striker trying to hold them off a bit. They get the dragon reset. Ultimately, all that's going to do is slow them down a little bit. That dragon's still going to go into the hands of Final Bastion.
Oh, the wolves! The wolves! The wolves! Unfortunately, wolves cannot beat a ram.
No, apparently a ram is much stronger than 3 wolves, and a dragon is not as strong as 3 members of Bastion, even though they've let it reset twice now.
Yeah, you know, they're having a little bit of difficulties here, but they can really take their time with it. Although they do lose a lot of precious time on the map. It allows Orbit Gaming to get back on the map first, which is actually pretty big. And if they want to make a play on Velikaz, they might be able to.
The one thing that's worth noting is although they have almost a 10k gold cap, a lot of that gold is still on the full build Gangplank. Which means all this gold he's getting from running around from wave to wave collecting gold is useless. He can buy pots, which he already has the gold for, but that's it. There's nothing else going into that Gangplank build.
Yeah, the good news is that Gangplank isn't getting any stronger. The bad news is Gangplank isn't getting any stronger, and you're not close to your final builds yet.
Yes,
2 full items ahead of your most fed member.
Exactly. It means this is going to be the power creep they have for a little bit of time right now. It's going to give Quasar Gaming, if they can find a way to deal with that Gangplank, a chance back into this game. It's worth noting, too, as well, Diana didn't really go for the Jack Show. She went for the more damage-heavy build, which means as Xin Zhao gets tankier, they'll have a tank threat to deal with on the side of Orbit Gaming, but none to deal with on the side of Final Bastion, which is really nice when you have a poke comp.
You know what's really crazy is that Diana going with the more damage-oriented build, as you said, it doesn't seem like Diana's taking a whole lot of damage, though. When these fights are starting, she's able to walk up with reckless abandon. You can see the Baron getting started up right here by Final Bastion. A couple members of Orbit Gaming in the area, Gangplank pushing in the bot lane. Teleports available for Jace and Xerath if they want to try to make a move. Karma gonna have to shield them all out of here as they know they're at risk of dying. You speed everybody up. On the quad, gets hit with the ultimate, but everything's okay for now. Ice, try and get away, gets stunned up, engagement onto the Diana, multiple versus fear for the Diana, drops the ultimate down, is now going golden. Here comes the curtain call, trying to thread the needle there. It's a 1-for-1 right now, but Velikos from the side. Musenju's trying to pick the fight. Musenju has had so many problems, though, trying to kill this guy, and he will barely survive the burn for now. It's a 1-for-1 trading junglers here. But Final Bastion are the ones making aggressive moves toward the inhibitor turrets.
And here it comes. They're going to be pushing for that T3, and it's so hard for them to step in with Gangplank standing at their doorway saying, if you walk up, I will blow you to shreds. And here looks like the first inhib.
Down.
The first
on that inhibitor. They're backing off, though. Frisky doesn't want to get in there any deeper, and they're about half HP, so it seems like a judicious move here with a 9k gold lead. You don't want to give up anything here. You want to start the chain in up, and it looks like the rest of Final Bastion will just back off and start picking off whatever jungle camps are left in Orbit Gaming.
And they're just clearing everything, taking any shred of gold that Orbit Gaming could possibly get their hands on. They still have both inhibs. That Baron is still up. They have the potential for Ocean Soul in 2 minutes if they can just hang on and prepare for another fight. It's very hard for the style of comp they are. Being this far behind means they can't just do things like walk up. Yeah, you see that too. Gangplank waiting for anyone to walk up in that bush. And if Xin Zhao falls to that Gangplank, that Baron is free. He's walking towards him. This could be disaster, but Velikos, level 18, going to back off. Just looking to stack that Ravenous.
I don't know if he can blow up Xin Zhao. He can certainly deal a lot of damage, but I don't know if he can insta-kill him like he's done with multiple other members. Ice
I'm
trying
not
to get
sure.
in there, but unfortunately it fails the Rocket Belt into the wall. But that's okay. We've all been there.
A minute and 20 till Dragon, and they're going to start Baron here. Will Orbit Gaming be able to do anything? It's getting deleted.
Yeah, this thing is going down real fast. They have an idea it's going on, but I mean, just no chance for them to do anything. A freebie there for Final Bastion. The Dragon spawns in about a minute. I expect them to use their advantage to put a troll coal on this Drake and send us to 7th Drake.
I got a question for you. What do you do when you just see the enemy team delete a giant purple worm in 10 seconds?
Well, I mean, that purple worm doesn't have a brain. It's an AI, right? So you just have to hope that you've got bigger brains than Baron Nash.
Okay, let's see. Well,
Zachology does not have bigger brains than Baron Nash.
Listen.
Zachology has failed the IQ test.
Listen. We just played Are You Smarter Than a Nasher? Unfortunately, Zachology, despite having a degree in it, has lost. There is no going back. They've been kicked out of Willy Wonka's chocolate
factory. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do for Zachology. I'm not going to try to flame Zachology too hard. Bone the Quad, though, was pushed up a little too far. Hasn't been spotted out in the middle of 4 members here. And now it's a 5v3 with a Baroned up team for Final Bastion. This could be their final push.
And tonight on Are You Smarter Than a Nasher, we only have 3 contestants left. Will they be able to prove it, or will they go down swinging? Moose and Juice, Nate Striker, and Null and Voided left to defend what's left of their base.
You can see Nate Striker's damage starting to come through, but Zachology is going to fall again to Velikos, and they're not able to kill him before Renata dies. And now the follow-up from the Diana, not the Diana, I'm sorry, from Karma, able to get some kills. Diana went and picked up that dragon, but the base is in tatters here. Final Bastion looking to end this game. Is Nate Striker the only one standing for 10 more seconds? Baron up minions. He's been rooted, and this Jhin does do a little bit of damage. The flash forced away. The final Nexus turret falling, and that would be game 1 going over to Final Bastion.
That will be it. The first match of the best of 3 series going over to Final Bastion after an intense push. Quasar did everything they could to try and survive, but ultimately, when you fall behind in a poke comp, it gets very, very difficult to do anything, especially with how far ahead Velikos was able to get on Gangplank. Now, one thing's for certain going into this next game, I guarantee you, GP's getting banned.
Oh, you have to at this point. I mean, Moose and Juice played a champion that has a little bit of agency against Gangplank and really, died once in that solo kill, but the game snowballed out of control from there. I mean, despite their stat line of 2, 6, and 3, they didn't play a terrible game by any means. But the Gangplank was just able to run away with it. Velikos just an unstoppable force of nature. And the good news is you get to spend the ban phase on that and force them to play something else.
Absolutely. They played an incredible game, but at the end of it, when it is that far ahead on a GP, there's almost nothing you could do. We did see a very close encounter between Gangplank and Null and Voided, but it gets hard as an ADC, especially when you get blown up in a moment's notice.
Yeah, they unfortunately Gangplank can just deal more damage in a shorter amount of time than you can pump out. I mean, we saw Aphelios wasn't even the greatest damage dealer on their team. That's going to go over to Nate Striker on the Xerath, which isn't too surprising, but I mean, it just felt like you just knew that Aphelios wasn't going to be able to do too much unless Gangplank spent too much time on other targets. And Velikos wisely swapping their focus over to that Aphelios when necessary.
Absolutely. But going into this game, I got a question for you. It's 1-0 right now for Final Bastion. What do you think Orbit Gaming needs to change about their comp?
Well, I like I said, I'm not really a fan of poke compositions at this level. There were a couple of times that were able to try and execute it, but a really big issue that I noticed they had was they would set up right, and you saw it in that second to last dragon fight where they were got off a little bit of poke, but Diana was just allowed to walk up to them and disrupt everything that they were trying to do. They spent a lot of time, invested a lot of resources in setting up. And then Diana just walked up and said, "What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it?" And Orbit Gaming was like, "We really can't do anything about it." So they were allowed to get split up, and that's where everything started to fall apart for them.
Ultimately, we'll have to see what changes are made in this coming game, but we are going to throw it to a short intermission here before we go into the next draft. We will see you guys in a couple of minutes for some more Phoenix Phoenix Gaming action.
See you soon. Welcome back, everybody, to the Phoenix Esports League. It is Yanni, it is Romeo, giving you all the action for Final Bastion versus Orbit Gaming Quasar. Final Bastion was able to take game one after a lot of back and forth in the early to mid game, with Orbit Gaming able to push a couple of leads, but ultimately Final Bastion was able to come out on top out of a fantastic performance out of Velikaz. Romeo, we're going to have to see something different come out here from Orbit Gaming. And let's see what happens in the ban phase.
We absolutely do. To be completely honest with you, they seem like they're all on the same page when it comes to team fighting. I'd be much more interested in seeing them take it that route and finding a very team fight oriented comp. We didn't see them smash super hard in lane phase. I mean, the jungle and bot lane synergy was definitely on point. But I think if they were to turn their comp into something that allows them to fight more over objectives, they were there first almost all the time. They were good at playing their wave states into objectives, but ultimately going with the poke comp, I find, definitely slowed them down. I mean, partly because of how far Gangplank was able to get ahead, and we see him completely banned out here. Smart decision by Orbit Gaming. But I think it is definitely important for them to try to move over to a more team fighting comp with the way they've been playing.
We've already seen some draft adaptations, as you mentioned. This time, Gangplank is off the table, but that did allow Caitlyn to be picked up here by Final Bastion. On the other side, Zoe is available, but Aphelios was taken out. Now, Orbit Gaming, they're the ones to hover this Diana. Interesting thing to note, the teams did not switch sides for Game 2. So, Orbit Gaming, it'd be really interesting to see if they want to give away Diana to Final Bastion. You know, it wasn't a crazy carry performance out of Iced, but they certainly made a lot of plays that went under the radar.
Definitely, and the ultimates was where that really shined. They got a lot of picks with Diana, which is what they were meant to do. And taking that away now, it's going to have to change how Final Bastion plays their comp a little bit. That being said, we're getting rid of the Xin Zhao. We're going with Diana here. Diana definitely felt like more of a threat, but they're also going to be taking the Jhin away.
I just want to be absolutely sure that Orbit Gaming is on the red side here, because it looks like they're just doing they're doing my favorite challenge. Whenever I lose to something in a game of League, you just pick it next, just because I think that's pretty fun sometimes. So we're seeing a very similar composition coming out from Orbit Gaming, and even another repeat over on the side of Final Bastion with the Renata glass cover, which does not surprise me to see picked up. The champion is just far too impactful.
Yes, it definitely is. We're going to have Renata Caitlyn in that bot lane, which is a very abrasive threat. We're getting a more quiet mid lane, though, out of Final Bastion this time. We've seen Vex be very, very oppressive in the last game, which to me makes this Victor an interesting pick. He's going to be a lot slower in the early game and very strong in the late game. That being said, Victor top is also a thing, which with the way Velikaz plays, I could kind of see him going Victor top.
You know, it could be. It is certainly an option on the table, but we'll have to wait until the second half of the draft for that. We see Zoe getting picked up by Orbit Gaming. That one was left on the ban table last time by Final Bastion, but Zoe, you know, she's not like other mid laners. She's quirky.
Oh yeah, she's quirky, but she's not quirky.
She's not quirky. She is not quirky. You are absolutely correct about that. The Victor Zoe matchup isn't something you typically see too often. Victor fairly fine at clearing out waves. Zoe can struggle at times depending on how the angles shake out, but there's no doubt that being able to fire bubbles through walls has a lot of merit.
And that being said, Victor is notoriously one of the slowest champions in the game, which makes it a lot easier for Zoe to make him take a nap and just take away half of his health bar.
Yeah, bro, he walked with a limp. You know, he got the cane.
He got the cane.
He got the cane, but don't call him Nasus. Second half of the bans here, Aurelia, Echo, off the board. This does mean that Riven is available for Final Bastion if they wanted to go that. It was banned last time around. Morgana and Yorick, the bans on the side of Final Bastion. They banned a Veigar last time around. Who knows? Maybe they know something that that we might not. What if they went Veigar support? It is a thing. I've done it. I love Veigar. He can do either role just fine, although he's been a little weak to start off the season. It looks like Maokai is the hover and the lock. Very solid pick.
And an instant response with the Vi here. Very, very... Oh, maybe not, actually. That looks like I spoke a little bit too soon.
You got baited. You got to wait until they lock it in, bro. You got baited.
But does that mean it's a Camille versus Maokai top, or are we going to see Maokai support?
I mean, I don't even know what this is right now because we're seeing multiple different hovers at this point. Maokai is strongest in the jungle right now, but it looks like it'll probably be a support angle here. You don't really see him top lane too much.
It appears I wasn't baited. It was Vi.
Yes, it did indeed become Vi. Here comes Vi. Piltover's finest are on the case right now. The point and click onto a Jhin and a Zoe, very powerful stuff.
You know, if I got baited, I might have been very, very violent.
Bro, you might be violent, but I am silent right now. That was awful. Renekton will be the final pick here for Final Bastion, so I like the aggressiveness that they're bringing to the table. You're bringing your Renekton, who you think is going to win lane, pair him up with a Vi, maybe get some ganks going on. Your Victor is your steadfast presence in the mid game and your late game insurance policy along with Caitlyn. The engagement is there. It seems like this composition has all the tools, but Orbit Gaming... Listen, all right. They're gonna go with Set. I was really excited for a second. It will go with Set, and you got a couple of good options to toss into the rest of Final Bastion.
It appears so, which means Set versus Renekton in the top lane probably gonna be the best lane to watch when it comes to the early game. Set, very, very heavily fighting champion, a boxer after all, and Renekton probably one of the best champions in the first 3 levels of the game. If I'm playing Diana or Vi, I'm getting to that top lane as soon as I can. Even that might mean changing my pathing to 3 camp, just so I can impact that fight. Because you know for a fact, Renekton and Set are going to go at it. And we've already seen how much Velikaz and Moose were going at it in that top lane as Gangplank versus Jace. Now they have 2 champions that want to go head on into each other.
Yeah, the first jungler to make it their way to that top side in an even state is really going to swing that lane. And, Renekton is the champion that you pick if you want to get an advantage early on in the game. And guess what? Set is a champion that also, if you want to get an advantage early on in the game, you're going to pick the Set. It's, some debate whether or not it's as good as Renekton in lane, but Set certainly has applications outside of lane that Renekton does not. So it is incumbent upon Renekton to do what they do best and go smash face. We saw Velikaz do that last time, as you mentioned. We'll see if this face smashing continues or not. And that does mean that there's a lot of things that are really odd in this game, because now that means that Victor and Zoe are going to be able to just kind of do their own thing. And the bot lanes are generally going to be left to their own devices as well.
One thing I noticed out of Orbit Gaming is that their comp is very, very interesting overall when it comes to team fighting. It feels kind of like a pick comp, but there's a lot of heavy engage that they have as well. You might want to look for the pick with Zoe, but overall, you have Diana and Set who are both ready to just kind of dive in head first. On the other side, we have almost just a very clear front-to-back fighting style when it comes to Bastion. You're going to have Renekton and Vi in the front, Victor, Caitlyn in the back firing shots, and of course, that Renata Glass ult can do a ton of damage, especially if it catches Jhin on the 4th shot.
Yeah, but Caitlyn and Victor are going to have their feet to the fire in this game. You need to avoid the Maokai ultimate. You need to avoid Set throwing your Vi or your Renekton into you. You need to avoid Diana finding a way onto the backline. You need to avoid keeping yourself in sight lines for Zoe to pop you from long distance. They're going to need to have their fancy feet working for them. Be interesting to see if either of them elect to go Ghost or something like that. Cleanse is a really good option for either as well because of Jhin, Zoe, Maokai, but it's so tough. Meanwhile, Final Bastion, they have a little bit of engagement. You've got a little bit of pick with Renata and Victor. Obviously, you've got Renata Ultimate, which works very well to counter an Orbit Gaming engage. Renekton, though, can sometimes have trouble getting into a front-to-back fight. Having him coming from an angle is really going to be where they're going to make their money. And Vi, of course, we all know she can just point and click a target, single them out, and try to take them completely out of the fight. It's going to be tough to see who is going to come out on top. Ultimately, it might just come down to skill difference.
I think no matter what, it will come down to, at least for the most part, skill difference between these two teams. There is definitely going to be a very bloody game, if anything, from last game is to say. I expect the earlier levels of this game to be a lot more of strict fighting and bloody, I can only imagine that Zoe is going to be looking for a pick onto Victor every chance they have. And as for that top lane, I'm just excited to see who gets the advantage. We already know what Velikaz can do with an advantage, but if we see Moose and Juice get ahead, I would be very interested to see the comeback story.
I'm awaiting this matchup with bated breath. We'll have to see what ends up happening as we are going to head into the spectator delay, but do not despair. When we return, Final Bastion looking to cap off a great week 1, while Orbit Gaming looking to force Game 3. Alrighty, everybody. We are back on to Summoner's Rift here for Game 2 of a 3-game set between Final Bastion and Orbit Gaming Quasar. Yanni and Romeo still bringing you all the action. The teams still on the same sides as last time. We saw an early game slugfest between these two teams, with Orbit Gaming pulled ahead in the mid game, was ultimately unable to seal the deal with their poke composition. But now they're looking to go a little bit more all in.
Yes, they are. These team comps definitely have changed. I think definitely for the better when you're looking at Orbit Gaming. It's less needing to delay your shots and more we look for a pick and we charge in, which is exactly what Final Bastion was doing in the previous game, which picked them up the first win of the series. Now, right now, it looks to be a nice calm over the Summoner's Rift, but I can't anticipate this is going to last very long. We've Set and Renekton already dancing with each other in the top side, and we know that in the mid side, Nate Striker is just waiting to be able to throw that bubble in on Victor and see if they can catch their target at any point during this game. What we do notice right now is Vi and Diana both starting on the bottom side of the map. The question is, are they looking for a 3 camp, a 5 camp, or a 6 camp to get to that top lane?
Listen, all I know is this means that we could see both of these champions on a collision course toward the top lane. Interesting thing to note, there is a bit of a mirror breaker here in that top lane. Renekton's W can break the shield of Set. It's very important because that's obviously how Set wins a lot of those trades, is getting that big shielding. So we'll have to see what happens as this lane progresses. We can already see Velikos looking to get incredibly aggressive. No Ignite available to them. They did not select it. They are already taking Moose and Juice to town, forcing them back. No Flash Burn on the other side, but it looks eerily similar to their last matchup.
Now, it's worth mentioning, it looks like Vi is going to be the one who gets there first. Diana electing to go for a full clear, while Vi skipping on those Krugs to try to get to that top lane a little bit earlier.
A very, very lame minion, blocking a lot of Nate Striker's damage, although they have gotten very aggressive as well. We like to see this early aggression here. Listen, they've got Prestige, RK, and Zoe, so they better know what they're doing on that champion. You don't just buy a Prestige skin if you don't know what you're doing, right?
With how much Mythic Essence you have, I mean, you could, but you probably shouldn't. Because then, people are going to be mad at you in your solo queue games when they see you with that Prestige skin and are not rocking it. But right now, Nate Striker is most certainly rocking it to Rams. They have that Barrier Summoner spell, and they are just shooting balls into his face.
Yeah, and look, Moose and Juice is going to get engaged on, but the shield is there. Good stuff. They're able to trade back with help from the turret. Oh, Velikos is going to go in for it, and they're able to get first blood and get out without taking any more turret shots. An impressive display here by this Renekton. They have just had Moose and Juice's number all day long.
Diana looking for a cleanup here on the TP coming back. Renekton is sandwiched.
Uh-oh, he's in a lot of trouble looking to turn it around, but is not going to be able to get out. Meanwhile, we see a gank in the mid lane, but no hay made there. So it's a 1-for-1 overall, if not for a little delay. Diana getting a kill in her pocket, looking to try to take over this game, unlike the Diana from last.
That being said, however, this is still not looking good for Set. He still has his flash up in fairness, and Velikos doesn't, which means we could get some bullying, but right here, right now,
oh! Nate Striker punished his Iced for his mistakes, and now Rams could be pinched a little bit here. On the quad, looking to try to get in, deal some damage. The shielding is out. Rams will have to back off, but loses his flash for it.
That means right now they're up in another.
There's more fighting! Huge knockup into that root. Frisky has to flash away. It looks like Zachology, they're taking a little bit of damage. They will be able to get out. On the quad, though, heading down as well. Has been spotted out, but the root goes down onto the Renata. Renata is in trouble and ganged up on Orbit Gaming. Quasar, the rest of the squad has come together. But now, Vi waiting in the winds, flashing forward, able to pick up a kill. Iced is going to get that one, but now a root on the comeback here for Frisky MMO, who's going to have to net away and will barely survive. And the bounce does not hit the Caitlyn. So much action, so little time, and a very similar start to our last game.
You wanted blood, and blood is most certainly here. Only 500 gold apart. 2 kills on the side of Final Bastion, 3 kills on the side of Orbit Gaming. A very close matchup right here, and another fight gonna break out.
Yeah, Velikos looking to get all these 1v1s going. Nice dodge there on the true damage, and will force a flash out of Moose and Juice. This Moose is getting juiced. I didn't even know you could do that, but then again, I didn't know that you could milk almonds. But here we are. Level 6 on the Renekton. Could see a dive attempt come through. He is going to pop the Dominus. He's going to get that rage up. He is definitely looking for blood here, and he will be able to take out the set. 274 gold for the Renekton. Give him a couple plates as well, and the Moose has been put in the dirt.
And if he was an Olympic freediver, he'd get the gold medal. That's already 2 successful dives, and the judges are rating it a 10 as he picks up his 2nd kill. And that top lane is starting to get dominated once again from Velikos. We've seen it before, and we're seeing it again. But Quad back up there to try to once again.
He's trying to hit the Quan, bro. He's trying to hit the Quan, but we'll see if Velikos is able to stick the landing here, as now he's caught between a rock and a hard place, but he is gaining a lot of that fury. He did burn it on the Q and bone the Quad. Going to try to follow this one up, but does not have the ability to really slow down Velikos. He went back for an auto attack that's going to allow Ice time to get in here. They're going to look to pinch the Diana, but here is set in the area. Bone the Quad has to flash away, but a nice dash from Velikos, and he's going to be able to pick up yet another kill. Moose and Juice is going to get Velikos very low, but now has to deal with Ice. Hanging around is the Renekton, doesn't want to get too close and potentially die, and Velikos picks up kill number 4, and even the East German judge gives that landing a 10.
At this moment, I'm seeing something very familiar to last game. Velikos already looking like in a good spot. I'm trying to see the gold here. He might be getting really close to already picking up his first item. Last game, we seen him back pretty early to get that essence of having 2 items by 14 minutes. And right now, it's looking like it's going to be the same way this game. Only this time, he's back with Bork. What is Moose and Juice to do?
Listen, you know, a lot of people in the sports world always say, you know, what would a player be like if you sent them to the NBA, for example, in years past? You know, send Steph Curry 30 years ago. This is exactly what would happen. This domination in the top lane by Velikos has transcended years of League of Legends. This is a gold level player in Season 13 versus like a diamond player in Season 2. It doesn't matter. You're just getting stomped on. Velikos is not letting up foot on the gas. All gas, no brakes. 30 CS lead, 3 level lead. 7 minutes in, has single-handedly crushed the spirit of Orbit Gaming Quasar.
Velikos might as well be known as a perfect 10, as that dive once again gets rated as he picks up a 5th kill, already having Bork, and the bullying of Moose continues as Renekton is just picking up kill after kill. He got the early advantage. Diana picked up...
Frisky, no! Goodbye. Zachology able to pick up that one. Now let me tell you. Now let me ask you something.
Yeah.
As a Canadian, is it illegal to bully Moose?
You know, it's illegal to bully them, but it's certainly not legal to hunt them. As Renekton's still looking like he has his hunting license and a few more badges to collect some more moose pelts right in that top lane.
Well, we did see Nate Striker pick up a kill. Now they're second of the game, so despite the fact that things have gone poorly in the top lane, elsewhere on the map for Orbit Gaming, it hasn't been all doom and gloom. You got your AD carry with a kill, your support's got a kill, your mid laner's got 2 kills, and they're all up CS, so who knows? Maybe the rest of Orbit Gaming is able to stabilize this. And we saw the Velikos, though, just win the game regardless. We saw something similar last time out. I just don't know if Renekton has the carry potential that Gangplank.
You know the one problem, though, what are you saying that they have the CS in other lanes? The difference in top lane CS makes up for all of that. We are now seeing a lane swap, it appears, for the side of oh, wait a minute. No, squad. It's not a lane swap. They are coming at Renekton. They want that 450 gold bounty, and there's 4 of them there to try and claim it.
Lost their turret, though. Zachology looking to get the root down, so he's going to be able to flash away. 4 members deep. They're trying to take this man down. They've thrown everything they have, and they turn him into a pair of Prada boots in the pocket of Nate Striker.
And that is 3 dives in your out. Nate Striker picking
up the
dive. But
they're looking for Golden Void. It's a very sneaky flash there, but they're still going to fall despite their best efforts. They're going to land the root. Are they going to be able to get the kill back? No, but they will force the flash out of Ice. And now looking to get some plates and some money back in the pockets of this bot lane here. So despite the fact they sent everybody for Velikos, it's a great response here from Final Bash.
Such a hectic game. We didn't even mention the fact that they did pick up Ocean Drake on the side of Orbit Gaming while the earlier plays were going on. They're looking to pick up that Rift Herald to try to bring back some extra gold. Once again, the gold difference is not that big, but the only problem is, despite Moose and Juice's best effort, as a champion going into this game, it is going to be very, very hard for him to come back into it.
We're going to gauge here on the first game MMO. Cleanse, flash, out of there. But great engagement, and that does force Caitlyn behind the 8-ball. Not a very mobile champion. We've seen Nate Striker do a lot of dirty things to Rams. I'd imagine they'd be able to do the same thing toward this Caitlyn's. We saw a little bit ago, the damage of the Zoe is starting to get greater and greater. 3-0 has completed a mythic right now. So, you know, all of a sudden a straight Q is going to deal a lot of damage, and something to be aware of. The Zoe could snowball out of control, much like Velikos.
And I think that is what Orbit Gaming has to be counting on as we get into this game. Because although Velikos can one-shot people, so can Zoe, and it'll become a matter of who can one-shot who first.
Holy moly, dude, that is disgusting. Luckily, the turret able there to help out the 6th man of the team. Top inner turret, helping out Moose and Juice, keeping them alive to fight another day. But you know Velikos wants to go in. He feels blood, he smells blood in the water, I should say. Definitely wants to go in and get one more kill. He's also going to get dropped down onto the Victor, but Vi going to get in close, going to drop the ultimate, followed up with the Chaos Storm, and Nate Striker has nowhere to go. Rams able to pick up the kill.
And that's what's going to make it very hard for Nate Striker as we get later into this game. Iced, when they have ult, becomes near impossible to allow you to play. He presses the point-and-click CC, and you just get knocked into the air and cry yourself to sleep.
Oh, man, Velikos walks up, lands the stun, throws a Q, walks away, explains nothing. Rift Herald getting dropped in the bot lane with the ultimate out of the Maokai. Nowhere to go is Frisky MMO. They will fall to the 4th shot. Molten Void able to pick that one up. Zachology able to walk it out with no further damage. Going after this bottom turret, getting as many plates as possible. They pick up 4 there with the Rift Herald usage. So more gold going over to Orbit Gaming. Quasar, but unfortunately, they're not able to do too much with it. They're still down almost 4K at this point. It's 3.5.
And once again, that gold is almost entirely funneled into Renekton. There is... Oh, wait a minute.
See a turn here. Good ultimate from Bone McQuad. Look at all the damage that comes out, but Renata with the bailout, and then the ultimate means Ice will survive. They try as they might, but unable to make the play happen. Such a deflating feeling. This dragon is up. It is going to be the Wind Drake, so we'll have to see if we're going to get a spicy Drake this time around. As it looks like the fight might not be totally over. They're not sold on taking this one, even though they're relatively safe. Looks like it'll just be Maokai trying to be a little spicy and cause some problems, but otherwise, should go over to Final Bastion without a problem.
And it seems they're picking up the absolute best dragon in the game. That's going to be the Cloud Dragon for the side of Final Bastion. And right now, it really comes down to it. I gotta say, Orbit Gaming on the bot side of the map have been putting up an absolute battle. They are trying to pull back as much as an advantage as they can, and they've been doing a great job at it. You got a 3-1 Zoe, you got a Jhin who's up 30 CS, but unfortunately, we're almost seeing a flame horizon when it comes to Renekton, and it's not really the fault of Moose and Juice. Vi was in his lane a lot. Velikos hitting those dives, very hard to play that fight, but he's trying his best to bring himself back into the game.
Okay, he's trying to win this 1v1 against Rams. Rams with a pretty good flash. Isn't commanding the Chaos Storm to help him out a little bit. But Rams ready to go, trying to get the laser in. Very low. Velikos, oh no. He's become a lumberjack. He's trying to chop down the trees. Where's the Lorax when you need him? Down goes Maokai, and a kill up in the top lane for Rams as well. Everything just going the way of Final Bastion.
Zachology just got cut, and Moose and Juice is lying in the ground and getting skinned alive, but they're gonna try to pull one.
What happened to Diana?
Wait!
Lunar eclipse! It's a lunar eclipse! Diana has just disappeared completely. Velikos was able to pop the Dominus. I was not trapped in here with you, you're trapped in here with me. It's a bit of a broken up dive here. They're trying to take out Nolden Void, but Ice is gonna take a lot of damage on the way out. Thomas also taking a turret shot themselves. Maokai looking to keep everybody here. Velikos starting to take a little bit of damage here. Golden Void really wants to try to get that kill worth a lot of gold, but not able to make anything happen. Final Bastion is able to walk out without any repercussions.
For a split second there, I thought Velikos went down, and that was when I seen Diana disappear off the face of the earth. Holy crap, Velikos is strong. He's got Prowlers, he's got Tabbies, he's got Bork, he's got another pickaxe. Correction, he's got a Hex Drinker. It looks like he's going to stop Quad and Striker from doing any damage to him come the future of this game. Probably going for that Wit's End as his third item. That Renekton is now 8-2, and man, No one can step up to him.
It's wise itemization. What are the only threats at this point? Is getting overloaded with magic damage out of a Zoe that has a little bit behind them, and a Diana who's gone to the first item Nashers. Just make them non-factors at this point, and just go ahead and push your team to victory. Right now, gold lead's still expanding. It's up to about 5k now. No objectives they're getting ready to fight around yet. We'll have to see what happens here, as looking to siege down this mid turret. It's about a half HP, but Zoe able to clear out a lot of waves without very much of a lead.
Rift Herald coming up in 15 seconds. This could be a very big Herald if you're Final Bastion, but coming in!
Oh, Ice went too far. Is going to go Drowsy, but multiple members going Berserk. That's going to allow the time they need to try to get out. But Bone the Quad flashing over the wall, knocking up a couple of members, and here comes that Maokai ultimate. Bone the Quad trying to find a way out. Nate Striker's not able to do too much as Rams has shown up to the party. Ice is going to fall. It's a shutdown for the Zoe, and they are not able to take down the Maokai. So overall ends up being a 1-for-1 in the 4v3. Final Bastion was advantaged, but Orbit Gaming holds the line. Velikos trying to get him from the side. Null and Voided trying to do what they can to maybe take him out. Here comes the curtain call. They might be able to get some golds here, but no, just barely unable to take out the Renekton, and there's no follow-up.
This fight still might not be finished. Victor's still trying to poke them a little bit. Everyone's finally backing off. Rift Herald is up. There's going to be an objective bounty on that Rift Herald. 500 gold. You can get an extra 100 gold to each of your teammates if you capture it and stop a massive siege from Final Bastion. That being said, Hextech Drake up in a minute. That is the strongest soul in the game and one of the strongest singular dragons. You're going to get that ability haste. You're going to get that attack speed, which is nasty no matter who you're playing.
Yeah, and that really can spell disaster for whatever team it has to stare it down. Oh my god, Velikos. Why did you do that to him? Velikos might try to win the 2v1 here, but no. Bone the Quad has enough damage to take him out before he can heal up. So a huge shutdown going over to that Diana. Despite the fact that the Jhin goes down, you'll take that.
But Jhin going down might mean a lot. Herald gonna go to the side of Final Bastion here, and they're all recouping at that dragon position. Of course, Renekton is down for another 20 seconds, and that dragon's up within that 20 seconds. So if they choose to fight it, they can, but still, Moose and Juice in the top makes this being a 4v4 at best for you. He's still trying to farm his way back into the game, pick up his Mythic, doing the best he can with everything that's occurred so far.
Yeah, he's got his Grouch Shale build, which isn't really going to do him very much good. You can see Zoe trying to create a lot of pressure here. Ice looking for the engagement on his Zachology. They're going to find it, but counter it with a couple of ultimates. Bone the Quad doesn't have the damage right now, and they're going to fall. Nolan Voided comes back just to die because Velikos teleports in and lets his impact be known. Set, nowhere to go, tries to get out as much damage as he possibly can, but unable to kill anybody. Rams will survive. 4 for nothing for Final Bastion, as they have put the exclamation point on this game and are firmly in the driver's seat before the 20-minute mark.
Well, I got a question for you right now. If you are Orbit Gaming, what is the game plan to come back in this match?
Yes.
Yes, you heard it here. Yes.
I think the only way you can win a fight is if Moose and Juice ults the Renekton away from everybody before the Renekton can do anything, and you get your Jhin like Gale forcing into the back line with everybody else. But the problem is, this Jhin is super immobile. He gets blown up immediately. Zoe, gets to stay at arm's length, which is fantastic, but he gets zoned out of a fight very easily, like we've been seeing lately. 4-1 and 0, but the poke just hasn't been there outside of fights already getting started and them landing skill shots in the middle of the fight rather than at the beginning of a fight.
This game is still very intense. Orbit Gaming fighting to keep themselves alive in this series. Admittedly, it's a tough fight for them to have. A 6k gold gap and an 11-3 Renekton. Velikos has been an absolute hero for the side of Final Bastion in this series as a whole. But have they found a way to shut him down? They're going to have to if they want to stay alive.
Yeah, somebody's going to need to grab an Anathema's Chains or something here. But even the rest of the squad are fairly strong. The engagement goes on to Bone the Quad here, is unable to pick up anything, unable to fight back. And you can see Velikos just going in, slicing and dicing. They just ripping Moose and Juice to shreds. You ever have a moose burger?
I've never had a moose burger. Have you had a moose burger?
I've never had a moose burger, but
You think Velikos can make us some?
Oh, Velikos has been making moose burgers all game long. You'd see Nate Striker getting forced away. Everybody on Orbit Gaming Quasar is just taking L's back to back to back. Vi in the bot lane, Rift Herald in the pocket. They managed to take bot inner turret, put some pressure on mid inner turret as well. They're just everywhere. Rift Herald getting dropped. It's just absolutely unstoppable. Zachology trying to get into the area is going to drop down that ultimate, try to root up a couple of members. Rams pressuring top inhibitor turret, and now the engagement is here. They're going to be able to root up Velikos. They're getting a lot of damage out on him. They're CCing him very well. He's got to dash out of there. Velikos trying to keep himself alive, but he will finally fall to shut down going over to the Maokai, and they will be able to force off the rest of Final Bastion. But at what cost? They've lost the bottom inhibitor turret. They're losing the top inhibitor as they're chasing for kills. Zachology is looking for more, but he's in a 3v1, and he steps in a trap. It's Shia LaBeouf able to pick up the kill. No, give it to the Vi. And Rams is running the game up in the top side. Nate Striker trying to force him away, and he does. Forces the flash out, but Nate Striker looking for more, just does not have the damage right now. Bone on the quad, dashing forward, trying to get closer, dashes through the stun. He's dropped the ultimate. Rams is getting low. Does he have the damage to turn back on the Bone on the quad? Is he going to be able to turn this around? The Chaos Storm is going to be able to pick up the kill. They try to take down the Victor, but he's just too good.
All the efforts that Orbit Gaming keep putting out has just turned back in their face. And right now, the chokehold being applied to them is getting harder and harder as we approach the 10,000 gold mark for the side of Final Bastion. That Baron's going to be another big objective for them to try to take right now, probably, if they want to walk that way. They have that top inhibitor. They still have all of their towers. The underdogs have been firmly planted as the side of Orbit Gaming. Is it impossible to come back? No. But is it going to be hard? You damn well know it. Moose and Juice caught in a rough position.
Oh, man. There's just not too much to say. He's going to try to change targets because he knows the only one he could potentially kill is Renata, but he decides to handshake the death anyway. Orbit Gaming, they're just pissing in the wind here, man. It is just not going very well for them. Down 13 kills, down 10k gold, 23-minute mark, base in tatters, and Final Bastion are looking to pick up a second inhibitor. They've had a lot of members trying to get committed onto this Renekton. You saw the burst. There is a chance the Zoe can make this happen. It's so hard because the resistances are there. And now, getting caught out, Bone the quad, unable to drop the ultimate either. You're going to see the Maokai ultimate come out, and just in vain, Velikos pops the Dominus. Not taking a whole lot of damage, but definitely looking to blow somebody up quickly. Set has to deal with the super minions in the top wave. It's a 4v3. Looking for this inhibitor in the bottom lane. While Vi's looking to escort the wave into the mid lane. Velikos getting in, stunning up, and just rotationing the Zoe. They will go 1-for-1, but I'm sure you'll take it because that means an inhibitor is going to go down and the rest of the team is going to rotate to try to take out the last inhibitor turret. And maybe the last inhibitor is Moose and Juice is here. Bone the quad still down for a couple more seconds. So we could see a 4v4 breakout, but the final inhibitor will fall, and Orbit Gaming Quasar are left with a base in ruins.
The base is in ruins, the dragon is up, the Baron is up. They can't go for it, because if they leave that base, those towers are going to fall. All they have left is the 2 towers in the Nexus. But you know what they say, if the Nexus is still standing, the game is not over.
You're right, the game is not over. The path to victory, though, I don't quite see it. You know, maybe if we had, like
Listen,
a 5-3-8 thing that shows us the path to victory and the percentages.
I got you.
Okay, tell me.
Okay, so all they need to happen is to run down mid, take out all the minions, have Velikos' computer crash,
well, they got
running
pause time.
down
They got
mid.
pause time.
So, yeah, honestly, if I'm them right now, I'm pausing, using all 3 of my pause times, hoping Velikos' internet for some reason goes out, and then just maybe...
Here's the problem, I've still seen a team win a 5v4 in leagues like this.
Just maybe, they win the 5v4.
That's a big maybe. They need a lot to go right here, and with the Baron going to Final Bastion, they're looking to finally end this game. Bone the Quad comes right into the Hex Gates and immediately gets met by the Renata. Oh no, Renekton is just waiting for somebody to walk in and die.
And he sees the
Baron's gonna be
moose.
taken down. Bone the quad into the pit. Does a lot of damage to the Caitlyn, but unable to get the kill. And now they're on Moose and Juice. Velikaz is gonna blow him up. Rams is gonna be able to get credit for that kill. Ace in the hole, blocked by the tree.
Oh no, the TPs
is super low. The TP from behind, but he walks right into the Vi. Frisky MMO gets the kill. They're on top of Null and Voided, forced back into the fountain. Zachology has no safe haven to run to. The first Nexus turret falls. The second Nexus turret falls. And final Bastion. They put their money where their mouth is. And they have shown that they could be the odds-on favorite to win the league behind a guy like Velikaz, who has potentially put their name in the hat for best top laner in the league.
Velikaz, without a doubt, has just put on a monstrous performance alongside his jungler Ice, who was absolutely there every time he did him. But Velikaz, both of these games, finishing with double-digit kills, full build in a matter of half an hour in that last game. This game already up 4 items by the 25-minute mark. This has just been the absolute Velikaz show. That man is a beast in the top lane.
Yeah, as it turns out, the final Bastion holds the final boss of the top lane in Velikaz. Just sitting there, you enter the Bastion, you find a way in somehow, and he sits upon his throne of skulls and sinew and stares down at you as you explode from the inside out from just the sheer force of the stare.
The question lies then, what team has a top laner who can hold their own against Velikaz? Moose put in a valiant effort, but at this moment, at all costs, you must find someone who can step toe-to-toe with the final boss himself if any other team wants a chance at winning this league.
Now, we do have to say, it's week 1 for them. It's week 1, game 1. The sample size is very small. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves here, but he certainly had a fantastic performance. This does mean we're going to take a very short break as we're going to try to get Velikaz into the interview channel here and speak to the top laner who absolutely ran ramshot over these games. Do not go anywhere. We'll hear from the man, the myth, the legend himself in just a little bit. Hey, everybody, thanks for waiting. And your reward is an interview with the man, the myth, the legend, Velikaz, the top laner of Final Bastion. Velikaz, congratulations on your win today.
Appreciate it.
Now, Velikaz, you kind of piss smurfed on him. We'll just call it what it is. We'll be straight up. So let me ask you something. You think you're the best top laner in this league?
Yes. And
Why?
no.
Okay, wait. I want to hear why you think you are and you aren't. Because yes and no. Hold on, man. You just said you a coin flip player?
Okay, if you ask my team, goddamn, am I a coin flip player? Holy. Yeah, one day I'm going 0-20 on Aurelia and like solo duo, and the other day I'm going 20-0. So.
Yeah, I did see that game in your.
Yeah.
In your
Okay. Well, you don't have to
history.
talk about that. No.
Hey, bro, it's early. It's
you
early.
brought
It's
it up.
early. It's early.
Yeah. True.
Well, my question then, right, is so we've seen this game, or both games, you were monstrously carrying throughout the early, mid, and late games of the teams. The first game, it was you against the ADC of Orbit Gaming, and you were able to crush them with a couple of barrels. But does your team have a fallback strategy for games where you're not able to get that far ahead?
Yeah. Let's hope my mid laner, who didn't perform the best today, can step up in that scenario. Sorry, I told him I was gonna shit talk him. The fallback plan is Rams 07 for sure. We came into this league thinking that this can be a top centric team, and if I like I said earlier, I'm a coin flip player, so if I don't do good, hopefully Rams picks it up and carries. Like I know he definitely can. Maybe.
Yeah, let's give Rams a little bit of credit here. In game one was the champion you needed him to be, just to give a little bit of CC. And in game two, it looked like they were well on their way to being the late game insurance policy had the need arose. So I want to ask you a little bit more about the top lane because let me tell you, whenever I play top lane, I get exposed real bad. So what was it? Is it just a couple of mistakes here and you just punish them, or was it just you just felt like things were just flowing in this game, or what?
So a big thing that I see from, I'm not like picking on him or anything,
Of
but
course not.
there's a clear rank difference between us.
Sure.
And the reason I am plat 2 or was last season is like for the people who make mistakes, you're able to capitalize and you're able to see the mistakes a lot easier when you're higher rank. So it's just really easy to see the mistakes and capitalize on it, and that's what I did.
Yeah, it seems like it certainly worked out. Now, I've been told that you guys are incredibly flexible. So, like, are we going to see like you play tanks? Do you play AP champions? I mean, like, you got anything spicy in the picks? You don't need to necessarily give them away. I just want to know if we're going to expect to see like some auction top or anything crazy.
My mid laner, which is also the coach, captain, whatever you want to call him, he will never let me play auction ever. And me, I'm never playing a tank.
Oh my god, yeah.
I mean, I tried getting him to pick me AP Twitch top last game, and he did not want me to do that. So I mean, if I need to, I got the AP Twitch top.
You know what? I think I'm going to go with the coach on that.
That is, yeah. I hate to say anything, but that's a dodge from me.
Come on, guys.
Being said, one thing I did notice is you and Ice have some synergy together. Have you guys played before? Or is this the first team you guys ever been on together?
No, I barely knew the guy. He's a good guy.
Is the game plan for him to stick with you in the top lane from your team? Because you said it's a top eccentric team. Or have you guys been training in a matter for him to be very heavily impacting the top lane? Or is it one of those things where it's just been happening with the way the game states were?
We have told Ice from the beginning that it's a top centric team. I wouldn't even necessarily say he played around topside this series. I think he ganked me with mid twice first game, and then second game he ganked me once. So I mean, like, we still haven't really shown jungle playing truly topside. So I feel like if we truly show the jungle playing topside in our next series, it's going to be more of a top canyon. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes in the future.
Glad to see you had high praise for Ice as a person. You have to be a pretty nice person if you got to deal with a top laner whose Discord name is Please Gank Top. That'll be it for us here tonight with the Phoenix Esports stream. Thank you very much for being here for us, Velikaz. Best of luck for you moving forward in the rest of the season.
Appreciate it. Love the casting, by the way.
Really appreciate the kind
Appreciated.
words, my friend. But I believe that is it for us here tonight. So the only thing for me to say is, for myself, Romeo, Snow, Velikaz, and the rest of the Phoenix Esports League, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. We hope you enjoyed the league action you had, and we hope to see you next time for some
Top
more
Canyon.
Phoenix League action. Top Galaxy Canyon.
Oh my god. He's already dead.
Are we off?
Yep.